Hello, this is Father David here on the fifth Sunday of Great Lent, the Sunday of Saint Mary of Egypt. And Father Stephen, in fine form, has chosen for the saint's life that is commemorated today to be the Venerable Mary of Egypt. Now, she's commemorated on April 1st, which for us this year was just but a few days ago, her official day, and then the fifth Sunday of Great Lent, which is today, whenever that happens to fall. I'm going to read through this. Of course, in our churches this past week, we celebrated her, depending on the calendar, some on Tuesday, some of us here at St. Anthony's we did on Thursday, and we heard her life in toto, in completion. The official life that St. Sophronius wrote out and detailed her life. But this is a very much a shorter version of her life. And so I'm going to read through this and just sort of speak about it briefly afterwards. It said, Mary lived from the mid-4th to the early 5th century. She worked as a prostitute in the city of Alexandria for 17 years. More to gratify her insatiable lust than to earn money. Out of curiosity, she once joined some pilgrims who were going to Jerusalem to celebrate the feast of the elevation of the Holy Cross. The ship's journey from Egypt did not interrupt her sinful lifestyle. She paid her passage by plying her trade. Having disembarked in Jerusalem, she tried to enter the church with the rest of the throng for the festal celebration, but an invisible force held her back. Finally realizing her sinfulness, she prayed for help to the Virgin Mary and vowed to live a life of penance. In her prayer to the Mother of God, she was told to cross the Jordan River and to enter the desert. Mary received Holy Communion at a church on the banks of the Jordan and then crossed the river into the wilderness, where for nearly 47 years she saw no other human being. She was tormented by physical needs and mental assaults, but she endured through the intercession of the Virgin Mary. Around the year 430, the priest Zosimus, a hieromonk, that's a priest monk, from a nearby monastery, who was on his annual Lenten retreat in the solitude of the desert, found Mary. She told him her story and asked him to tell no one about her until after her death. Zosimus promised to meet her a year later to give her Holy Communion. When he saw her the next Lent, she walked across the water of the Jordan to receive the Holy Eucharist. Then she walked back into the desert. When Father Zosimus came back the following year, he discovered Mary had died, and he buried her body. Upon her repose, he was free to tell the world of her life. And then this prayer that Father Stephen writes, a very short line, at the end of every saint whose life he shows in each one of these entries, he says, "When I recognize the need, but find it too difficult to change my life through repentance, help me to remember the courage of Saint Mary of Egypt." Now it's interesting, a couple of things just to point out. Of course, we all have sins. In the Orthodox Church, we call them passions, are those particular sins that keep us hooked. Oftentimes, the passions are those that at the slightest provocation, we don't even think about it, we don't deliberate it, we don't fight it, we just run right to it. We give in. You could see it in terms of the alcoholic who, the moment he's at work and the thought hits him, I should go to the bar after work, he's immediately there. And before he knows it, he's several drinks in. That's a passion. And Saint Mary of Egypt was pulled in by her passions. And she even says that in those 47 years in the desert, the first 17 years of repentance were the hardest, contrasting to her first 17 years in the world as a prostitute. She said she still heard those tavern songs She still tasted the wines that she got drunk with. Her lovers, the memories haunted her. Repentance is a struggle. Repentance is often difficult, and it isn't often met with immediate success if we determine success to be a lack of being bothered and tormented by our past or our memories. It's a long struggle. But I would also say, for Orthodox Christians, we just finished this past week, like I said, with the canon of St. Andrew of Crete and said, "Have mercy on me, O God, have mercy on me," over and over. But I would also say that, like St. Mary, let us also avail ourselves of our Holy Mother, the Theotokos, and ever Virgin Mary. Let us ask for her intercessions as well, that she would calm our passions through her motherly prayers, that she would help us, that she would give us wisdom, because, as the Church says, after God, we have her as a support. And it's always important to note that, of course, God is our King, but the Theotokos is the Queen Mother, and she intercedes for us before her Son. So let us remember the long pathway of repentance is difficult, but possible. But we do not walk alone. We have Mary's as our guide, the Theotokos, the Mother of God, and the long-suffering St. Mary of Egypt. So God bless you. Lord willing, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.